Oh. It was also a scoregami fun fact.
Oh, I suppose it was 40-40, huh?
Yeah, never happened before, especially in a tied
Honestly,
game.
at this point, ties are probably up there in probability wise for getting a scoregami
Ooh, they're not
because
priced the same though.
almost every tie should, but the chances of tying are pretty low. But then
Yeah,
also the chances of a scoregami aren't super high. So
yeah. All right, cool, dude. You ready to go?
yeah,
Cool. In three, two. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofict one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How you doing today, bub?
yeah, I'm all right. I'm cooled down a little bit from Sunday night. God damn, man, fucking tie. Really, really a tie. It's okay though because I woke up this morning and got really, really good news, and that is the Wild. If you can see the back, it says Kaprizov 97. He's not going anywhere. He's locked
No.
up 8-year extension. I was nervous
70
about that.
mil
I
a
was nervous
year?
about that because, yeah, if you remember about 2 months ago, it was, Wild and Kaprizov have agreed on an extension for 8 years, a little bit less money than it ended up being today in the actual contract. And it was agreed upon, but ink was never put to paper. And then a couple weeks ago, they were like, all these rumors that Kaprizov was leaving. And I said, yep, that's Minnesota sports for you. That's what's going to happen. But it's okay. It was all just a hoax. Ended up giving him, I think, less than $10 million more over that 8 years than the original contract was supposed to be. So obviously, the Wild weren't going to lose Kaprizov over
No.
$1 million a year. So they got it fucking done. Ink is to paper now, and Kaprizov will be spending what I figure will be the majority of the rest of his career with the Minnesota Wild. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not even 30 yet, so
Still has time, could go for another contract, but it is, he will be the highest paid player in the NHL, not only from a total contract basis, but a year over year. AVY, I believe, is that. No, AVV, annual average value, AYV, something like. Anyway, acronyms, Noah.
yeah.
But no, the
Well,
Wild go ahead and get this done. And Noah, I felt something that I haven't felt in the last 2 weeks of being a sports fan, and that was hope. And that was hope, Noah. Hope of a new season, hope of bigger and better things, hope of maybe, I don't know, winning a hockey game every once in a while and watching the boys celebrate. I mean, I'm getting desperate over here. It's been a rough couple weeks in Arizona, man, with the injuries, the D-backs sucking in, and of course, Cardinals doing what they did last Thursday. We'll get to that. So Noah, before we go any further, do you just want to take a moment to shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on X, YouTube. Y'all are the best. Follow us. That'll help us out a lot more than you know. But no, I know this is our overreaction day typically for football and all things football and everything. But there were some other things going on in the sports world this weekend that I do want to start off with. And that would be the let's call it duck a duck in the embarrassment of the Ryder Cup this weekend that we had to view for the last for Friday through Sunday. Week start for the US in the first week, in the first day. Gained a little bit of ground, but not really much. Going into somewhere where, hey, we just need to sweep everything on Sunday. And we do fairly decent on Sunday. The points start to get close and started to get so close, Noah, to where something as minute as, just half a point. Half a point. That really could have made the difference for everything. And again, Noah, kind of like blaming refs and everything. You don't let the rules or anything put you in that position to where it can cost you a game or a match, yada, yada. But for this to come out and this whole envelope rule bullshit, I mean, bro slept wrong and can't play. And so, okay, it's a tie, half point to both teams. I'm sorry, Noah. When was the last time that like literally any other sport, even the PGA? I mean, what, bro? Just because bro, withdraws on day one doesn't mean that he gets, automatically make the cut and get paid. That's not how this works. Tennis, soccer, anything. Like, you're injured, you can't play. It's a forfeit. It's not a tie. It's nothing. And for the fact that it was coming down to that. And, I'm glad that it didn't come down to that, because then the U.S. fans would have been insufferable. But we'll get to the fans in a moment, Noah, because I know that was another big point of contention this weekend. But the envelope rule, that needs to be done. That needs to be done. And I'm not saying that that's why the U.S. lost. Obviously, you can't come out like that on Friday, and expect to just turn it around. But what are your thoughts on the envelope rule and how they try to screw us, Noah?
Here's my thing with that. I don't think it should be like an automatic forfeiture, but it shouldn't be okay, we're just splitting the point. Because that heavily benefits whoever's in the lead.
Yes.
Because, yeah, you're not going to win that point, but you're not risking that point either.
Exactly.
Because you could theoretically, if your entire team got sick and you were in the lead going into Sunday and you split every point, you win.
Yeah, everyone gets food poisoning, Saturday night. They're celebrating a little too much. Oh, they're hungover. They can't play. Well, okay, half a point to.
Yeah. So here's my solution to that. That's not just a forfeiture of the point, because this is a huge event. It means a lot. Each team should go into the Ryder Cup with 2-3 alternates assigned.
Yeah.
That in the event that somebody sustains an injury or has an illness and they can't play because of that, there should be predetermined alternates. And I don't know what number you go to, whether it's 1, whether it's 2, whether it's 3, whatever makes sense. 3 is probably more than necessary, because on a 12-person team, you would hope there's not that much going on.
Yeah.
But I think having 1 or 2 designated alternates who are not playing unless of the event of something happening like this, because then that match does get played. And you still, if you're Europe, you're still putting out a pretty decent golfer. I don't know off the top of my head who their number 1 alternate would be, but it's not going to be some scrub.
No.
But and it's totally fair if both teams go in knowing this and have 1 to 2 alternates in place. And I just, a little ridiculous. I don't think it impacted the outcome, although you could make an argument that it did, because Shane Lowry's putt then is not to win it.
Yes.
Shane Lowry's putt is to put them within half a point of winning it. And then the 3 golfers for the U.S. that are still out there on the course, if they absolutely dial in, the U.S. still has a chance. It was a hell of a comeback and rally on Sunday, but unfortunately the U.S. just got in way, way too much of a hole. So I don't think it mattered in this one, but I do think it raises the question going forward. This obviously is not a good solution to just basically nullify that matchup and just give each team a half a point. I would like to think both the U.S. and Europe and the Ryder Cup teams would have the decency not to intentionally have something happen at any point. I don't think that would ever happen, but the door is open. So I think you just can't leave that door open. And I really think it's a simple. It's such a simple solution as assigning 1 or 2 alternates in case something happens, in case there is a family issue that somebody has to leave, a minor injury issue, an illness, like if somebody were to get like food poisoning for something. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea to just have 1 or 2 alternates on standby who travel with the team. They're not playing unless something happens to somebody who's supposed to be playing. So it's not like you can sub. It's not like you can sub in your alternates without an injury.
You need to have just because someone's playing bad, you can't call an audible and have someone step in on Saturday. But
it's like what the NFL did with adding a 3rd reserve spot for quarterback, where you're allowed to elevate them to your game day roster if something happens to like your starter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. And they're not counting against a roster spot for you, but they're also, if your starter and your backup are fully healthy, if your full 12 team is fully healthy for that day, the alternates are, they're there, but they're not playing. They're not swinging a club. They're not doing any of that. And I think it's such a simple solution because we do talk about a number of things in the sports world and how it's not cut and dry in a simple solution. Yeah. But I think this one's it's as simple as the captain just designates one or two alternates to play. And then it would have been really interesting too with this one. Would have been a perfect storm too. Would have taken so much pressure off of Keegan because he picks his 12 person team and then just says,
and he's an alternate.
I'm the first alternate.
Yeah. And that would be great.
Means nobody else has to travel with the team, but if something happens, somebody gets injured or something. Now,
then why don't we even do that, Noah? Why don't we even do that? Why don't we have the captain just be an alternate? Like
sometimes the captain's 70 or 80 years old, so.
Okay, well, let's get rid of that. Let's have it be, you have to be a normal tour player, whether that's champions or otherwise. You have to be a normal tour player and got to be able to play because you need that roster spot. I kind of like that idea a little bit more. And I know it doesn't happen often, player captain, it's not traditional, but I don't know. I kind of like that.
Yeah. But I really do think it's a simple solution in this case.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Well,
I don't understand why we don't just have, like I said, not a lot, but just like one or two, maybe even three would be maybe the max in my mind. But I think 2 is a good number, 2 alternates. And you designate them first alternate, second alternate too. So there's no question about plugging and playing to benefit a certain matchup. This is who we said going in was alternate number 1 and so can't play for whatever reason. So alternate number 1 is in. And in the event that you need alternate number 2, then they go into.
Yes, I like it. Now, that was controversial thing number 1, and then there was kind of a controversial number 2 that was just over-lingering the entire weekend, Noah. And it's an issue that not only myself and you, I think, even made a comment about it, but multiple other sports medias that cover golf and talk about golf and sports in general, putting it in Long Island, New York. First of all, let's start there. They've got a certain reputation. You go to a Mets game, you go to any of those games or anything, those fans are going to act a certain way. And so nothing too surprising there. And, tickets are really expensive, but at the end of the day, if they pay the money, they're going to do what they want to do. Now, I do agree that there's a line. And there is always a line, Noah. And I think you and I can agree. You want to jeer someone on a bad putt. The comment earlier in the week about Rory not being able, not needing the top button because he can choke without it. I thought that was good.
That was tasteful. That was
exactly. Funny. But exactly, like fun stuff like that, jeers like that. Oh, like Rory, you suck on Sunday. Yada yada. That stuff's fine. But when it gets to verbal, verbal assault and slurs and everything like that, that's where that line needs to be drawn. And Rory at one point called for a fan to be... Food. Okay, well, there's alternate angles of the cup video where the cup was thrown and someone hit it out of a guy's hand and it just happened to go that way. Didn't look like the guy was winding up or anything like that from what I saw. But regardless... I agree that there's a line, and I agree that the fans, I don't care how much you pay or whatever, there is a certain level of respect that you need to show these athletes, the people working the event, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what I did not enjoy about this entire thing is the hypocrisy coming from the likes of Rory McIlroy and the European team. Because, you know what, fine, you want to go ahead and take the moral high ground and everything, talk about the cursing and how you need to have manners, fine. Don't tell a guy in the gallery to shut the fuck up. Don't, be causing issues yourself or yelling at fans and everything. Don't take the European flag and fly it over Bryson DeChambeau's name. Like, if you want to talk about respect, you got to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. And I felt like, fine, you want to attack us fans, you want to do that. And they were doing that bullshit before the Ryder Cup even started in interviews and everything, which, you want to go ahead. That's stirring the pot, in my opinion. When you say, oh, those guys, with the mashed potatoes and everything, like blah, blah, like you're stirring the pot, bro. You're asking for a problem at that point. Again, Was stuff taken too far? Absolutely. But the European team coming over here acting all high and mighty because, they all live in Florida nowadays and got out of Europe. That's whatever. But there's no reason to attack the fans and then give it back. You want to give it back in what you're taking. That's fine. But don't give it back and then take a moral high ground of, oh, well, golf needs to be proper and pish posh and tea in the afternoon. Fucking assholes, dude. And I hate that shit.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too, but
absolutely not.
Yeah, a number of those European players were involved in jawing with the fans, and again,
which
I think
stirring the pot a bit.
The flip side of that, the American fans out there were a little too rowdy and a little too misbehaved for this event at certain points. And the hard part is it's a small portion of the people that were there causing issues.
Yeah, of course, always is.
But obviously that's what's going to get media attention. And it's not the same as the waste management, but we always talk about the waste management. And it's go have fun, be rowdy, get drunk, don't act a fucking fool.
Yeah.
And it happens every year at the waste management, and that's why I'm drawing the parallel there. Obviously, this event different, much bigger event, and probably a lot less drinking, and the general fan base there not as rowdy as the waste management would be.
Yeah.
But I think same principle, right? Know the event you're at, behave in accordance to that. Have fun. Some jawing is fine. Like I said, some of that tasteful jawing, it's funny. Right. It's good. Don't take it too far. Don't step over that line. And there were plenty of instances of of fans in the crowd stepping over that line. And it felt like it happened too frequently. And again, I do think you do have a point with, some of the European players were totally playing into that and then being like, oh, well,
the American fans are trash. They don't know.
It's like instigating a fight with your sibling, and then you put your hands up and you're like, oh, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's more of my issue. I think what the fuck did they expect? What the fuck did they expect? They're going to Long Island, New York. Yeah, it's like going to Eagles game and wearing Cowboys gear. You don't think you're going to get the shit kicked out of you? You're an idiot. It's so dumb. And then they stirred the pot the entire week. Congratulations, you won the Ryder Cup, you bunch of pussies. It's ridiculous. Grow up a little bit. McCormick in the chat. What's up, dude? But anything else from the Ryder Cup? No, that's all I have.
No, my only other note on that, just actually getting to kind of the play of the Ryder Cup is, Europe kicked our asses putting.
Yeah. We could not putt for shit all weekend.
I think going into Sunday, and it probably was even more after Sunday. I didn't see what the final stat was, but going into Sunday, just after Friday and Saturday, U.S. had 8 strokes gained, tee to green. We were getting our asses. We were down 7 points with 8 strokes gained tee to green. And at the end of the day, the big difference maker, Europe was making putts. The U.S. was not.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
And even take that into Sunday, some of those matchups on Sunday, we had multiple opportunities to win holes, just missed them. You had whatever hole that was at the end with Bryson where he misses the birdie putt and then sails it 7 feet long and then misses the fucking par putt. Cam Young misses an eagle on an opportunity to win a hole that almost went in, but it just couldn't make putts, and that was the big difference maker. And in an event like this, where you have the best of the best in the world playing against each other, more often than not, that is what ends up being the difference maker: is who putts better.
Yeah, always.
And Europe putted much better than the U.S. And so even though we, like I said, probably ended up 12 to 15 strokes gained on them tee to green, still lost because they made the putts, we didn't.
Simple as that. And that's all it comes down to. Rare form Scotty was in this week. Scotty did not Did not look good.
I saw a very interesting tweet that resonated a lot with me because Tiger had a bad losing record in the Ryder Cup in his career. Only won about a third of the points that were up for grabs. And somebody said you have to wonder about like the caliber player that Tiger and Scotty are. Does it throw off their game to have somebody else taking half of their shots
Oh, probably. Oh, absolutely.
in these group formats? Because it's like not every shot that Scotty hits is perfect. Like that's for sure. We saw that on display. He didn't play very well overall, but does it throw them off to not be in control of all their shots? And I think there's some validity to that, right? It's like,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
especially you talk about some of those approach shots. It's like, oh, well, I wanted it on this part of the green and you hit it on this part of the green. And it might be the same distance from the pin, but
it's a different read than they saw at practice and one they didn't like or something. I totally see them being those type of
and I do think there's some validity to the fact that might throw
throw them for a
guys
loop
like Scotty or Tiger off a little bit, having to play with somebody else. Because let's be honest, Russell Henley's a really good golfer. There's not a single golfer that's going to compare to the way Scotty's playing right now. And so if a shot gets hit, even if it's a decent shot, it might not be what Scotty wanted.
True. And McCormick saying he's played it and those tee box shots to the fairways are unreal. I don't know if I believe you, McCormick. Maybe you need to take us out for a round on you. I think that's how we go ahead and solve this one.
I think I'd shoot about a 170 on Bethpage Black.
We'd start a new show called Breaking 200 on PGA Tour courses.
Bro, if I could break 150 on most PGA Tour courses, I'd be like playing from the PGA, playing from the PGA, like the tour tees. I'd be happy, but. Yeah, God, Bethpage Black. I mean, like if I broke 170, 180, I think I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, all right, I can lay my head down and sleep on that just fine.
Yeah, not bad. Anything else on the Ryder Cup? Shot a 112 at 16. Holy shit, McCormick. Not bad.
I couldn't shoot a 112 in my local course at 16, so that's
no. But anything else on the Ryder Cup? I got one more thing before we get into football.
No, that's what I got on the Ryder.
All right. Last thing I want to talk about, Noah, and it's funny. It's funny, Noah, because, when we talk about all the sports we talk about all the big American ones and everything. And the one that always seems to, I would say more recently, become like oh, well, no one wants to hear about that. No one wants to talk about that. Everyone tunes out when that comes on the radio or the sports people talk about baseball. Everyone's saying baseball's dying, baseball's this, baseball's that. Well, Noah, MLB decided to take a little victory lap and release their total numbers from this year when it comes to live attendance. And we are seeing the third straight year of MLB attendance growth for the first time since 2007, and the third straight year of more than 70 million fans for the first time since 2017, with a total of 409,421. Noting as well that Dodgers and Padres set franchise attendance records. Mets and D-backs have their best attendance since 2008. Phillies' best attendance since 2012. Reds' best attendance since 2015. And Tigers' best attendance since 2016. Baseball is back. Baseball is growing. What a time to be alive, just in time for the playoffs. And we are looking, I think, at an exciting playoffs here, Noah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it does not surprise me. And two words that have caused this. Pitch clock.
Pitch clock. It's literally the pitch clock.
Yeah. It's made baseball so much more watchable to the just everyday fan. Because now you're not questioning, is this going to be 3, 4, 4.5 hours for this 9-inning game, which we did see some north of 4 hours that only went 9 innings, which is crazy. We've seen games done in as quick as 2 hours and 20 minutes. And
it's great.
It it is great. I think we're at a really good balance right now. The ever going battle for the MLB is tweaking little things with the game to either benefit pitching or batting. I think we're at a really good balance of pitching and batting where we're getting runs in games, but not an absurd amount of runs. And so I think the MLB has like a really they've got rules wise everything set up in a really good spot right now where it's super watchable, it's entertaining enough without like fucking over the pitchers.
Yeah.
Because there is I would say there's probably more of the fan base that would love to see, 10, 12 games with a bunch of home runs than there are that want to see a 1-0 game. But there's also enough baseball fans out there that really do appreciate a good pitching showdown.
Yeah.
And I think we have a really happy medium right now, and the MLB has made a couple rule changes in the last few years that we've talked about before. We both thought they've done a really good job in the last couple of years at fixing the on the field product to where it needs to be, and I think it's in a really good spot. And they're reaping the rewards of that with increased attendance, increased viewership on TV, and baseball's not dying; it's not going anywhere. No. I'm telling you, just the way all the leagues are running right now, give it about 5-8 more years, and the NBA is going to be the lowest watched major sport in America because the NBA does everything wrong. The MLB has started doing things right. The NHL is growing. The NFL is not fucking going anywhere. And
by the way,
I think they're doing the right things. The MLB is doing the right things. Baseball's doing the right things.
By the way, those viewership numbers: Fox up 9%, MLB Network up 13%, FS1 up 10%, TBS up 29%, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball up 21%, NHK in Japan up 20%, most watched season ever, and MLB.TV, they're up 34% most watched season.
Crazy numbers for
ever. Baseball is at an all-time high. Baseball is killing it, and I'm loving it, Noah. I literally all I did today was work and tune into baseball. It was awesome. I love it, and I'm excited to just continue to watch this grow. And let's not forget, Noah, the NBA is not going to die because people aren't going to watch, because Adam Silver told everyone that the NBA is a highlight. It's a highlight product. Go on social media. Just watch the highlights. Don't go to games. Don't waste your money and time watching the actual product.
And
then did you see that? We're not going to talk about it, but did you see that WNBA shit that came out today?
No, I don't even know.
Oh yeah. Okay. Give it a good read and we'll talk about that next time. It's the best thing that you've ever said, Noah, that no one hates the WNBA more than the WNBA, and they continue to step on their own feet. It's awesome. But enough about everything else, Noah. We had a crazy week of college and NFL football. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, let's start with I don't even know if I want to call it a top 25 anymore. I just kind of want to call it a fun puzzle where you try to get into someone's head and see what they're thinking, because you're going to have to help me out with some of these, bud. You're going to have to help me out with just, again, it's from what we've seen them, how they've dropped teams already this year and how they're not dropping teams. It's fascinating. You ready to get into the top 25?
Yeah, definitely. And I do think I might catch a little hate for a few of my teams in the top 25. If I sent it to you, AJ,
you did not.
There's two in particular that I think people are maybe going to react to, but I don't care, and I have reasoning for why I did what I did.
All right, Noah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the top 25. Let's go ahead and start with the top 8 since they're on the screen. Noah, Ohio State at 1, Oregon at 2, Miami at 3, Ole Miss at 4, Oklahoma at 5, Texas A&M at 6, Penn State dropping all the way down to 7, Indiana at 8. Noah, walk me through it. How you feeling?
Ohio State 1. Boom. I'm right there with it. Right there with it. I got Miami 2, Oregon 3. Don't really care about the order of that. I think these are. I think looking at this, there's no doubt about it. These are the top 3 teams in the country right now. I think that's pretty cut and dry. Once you get out of that, it starts getting a little interesting. Ole Miss, I personally have at 9. believe last week, what did I have them at? I had them down at 14. I moved them up 5 spots to 9. I moved LSU down a bit. I don't think LSU is that great. We'll get to them later. Oklahoma, I do have as my number 5 team, but at number 4, I do have Penn State. I dropped them from 2 to 4. And here's my reasoning. And I know you can come at it with, oh, they haven't beaten anybody. This is true. This is true. But if Oregon is supposed to be as good as we are to believe they are to be, and I have them at number 3, you go to overtime at home against a top 3 team in the country, double overtime, and you lose in double overtime, I don't think that's that bad of a loss.
No.
And that's why I only dropped Penn State from 2 to 4, and I moved Oregon up to 3, moving them right above them. I'm like, I'm not dropping Penn State because, yeah, they have not had a single litmus test yet this year, and this is the first one. And an overtime loss to a double overtime loss to Oregon, I don't think is a bad mark on your resume. I really don't.
No, and I mean, if
Oregon's going to have what, 1, maybe 2 losses this year,
maybe
possibly 0 by the time we're going into the playoff. This is whatever. It's classic Penn State. James Franklin cannot. It used to be can't beat Ohio State, can't beat Michigan, and then Oregon joins the conference, and now it's probably going to be the same thing, right? You just can't beat Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan. Penn State's going to be a playoff team in a 12-team format, especially if we expand to 16, more often than not, because they're going to run their way through the rest of the conference.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people want Penn State dropped a lot farther. The AP dropped them down to 7. I don't care. They're number 4 for me. Until they have a close call against a team they shouldn't or lose a game that they shouldn't, I'm not dropping Penn State at all. Whatever.
And Noah, honestly, I'm fine with that. And I've heard a lot of the comments too about, why is Penn State only dropping that many spots? They haven't played anyone, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. Are we going to punish all the SEC teams in week 10 when they're playing Southern Missouri Tech? And we're going to drop them for deciding to play a cupcake then? I mean, I know the non-con stuff has changed recently with what teams and what conferences are looking to do, but punishing them for these games that have been scheduled years out, I wouldn't do that. And just because, like you said, they lost their first test, there'll be more down the road. Oregon's that good. I'm fine with you only dropping them to 4, Noah.
Yeah, and just explain to me why the SEC does not get looked at in the same lens that the Big Ten does, because I really think they're neck and neck. I know the bottom of the Big Ten is worse than the bottom of the SEC.
Agreed.
But if we're going to compare the two conferences based on the bottom 4 or 5 teams, like, that's not fair, because you look at the top 10 to 12 teams in each conference, and I think they're very comparable. And so, if the second or third best SEC team loses at home in double overtime to the second or third best SEC team, they're not really moving much. And so I don't know why we're like, oh, Penn State, just because they haven't beaten anybody yet. Yes, they scheduled a weak-ass fucking non-conference, whatever. Time will prove that Penn State's a top 10 team. I think even maybe a top 5 team borderline. That's why I got them still in my top 5. I'm not even fucking worried about it. A&M sitting there at 6. I've got them at 7. I'm not far off with that one. I think they have looked like potentially the best team in the SEC. Them in Oklahoma. AP agrees with me there, I guess. Indiana, I do have quite a bit lower, though. I've got them at 12. I know they blew out Illinois at home.
They did.
And they've been blowing out everybody. The couple non-blowouts in non-conference to start the season had me a little bit worried. So my starting point with Indiana was quite lower. And so I'm slowly working them up. I did not move them very far this week because I was not super thrilled with their performance against Iowa. So for me, there were other teams that were much more impressive that I had leapfrogging Indiana. And so I got them at 12, but that's where I'm at with that. Only one kind of way out of the mix here. I got Texas Tech up at 6. I got them at 6. I got them chomping at that top 5. Texas Tech is that good.
Yeah.
I believe this week they play – who do they play this week? Because they're going to have another
Houston.
Yeah, they're playing at an undefeated Houston team who I have right on the verge of the top 25, not quite in, but this is a good Houston team. And watch Texas Tech go in there and win by 20, 30 points and just really put their stamp on it. I mean, they spent the most fucking money in the offseason, and people were not paying enough attention to that. And I'm like,
No.
in today's day and age of college football, there is something to be said about spending a shit ton of fucking money in the transfer portal on your recruits. Texas Tech did it. They started the season ranked 20 something. I don't even what AP got them like 11 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah. 11.
Crazy work. Texas Tech is legit fucking good, and they're just not getting the respect.
No respect.
But they're gonna blow their way through their fucking Big 12 schedule, and when they're blowing everybody out by 30 fucking points, at some point the AP is gonna have to show some respect there to Texas Tech.
Which conference do they play in again?
The Big 12, baby.
Okay, yeah, they ain't gonna get no respect. Let's go ahead and keep it moving here, Noah. 9 through, let's go 9 through 16. You got Texas at 9. They actually moved up a spot without playing this week, so shout out to them. Alabama at 10, Texas Tech at 11, Georgia at 12, LSU at 13, Iowa State at 14, Tennessee at 15, Vandy moving up to 16. Noah, tell me where the AP got it wrong here.
Yeah. Hey, man, starting with Texas, if they just had bye weeks for the rest of their season until the playoffs started, they'd probably be ranked third in the country by the time the season ended.
Honestly. And I mean, I guess people are still really excited about how Arch looked against Sam Houston a couple weeks back.
Yeah, against Conference USA's own 0-4 Sam Houston State. That was,
and since all of the people voting on these watch the games, maybe that performance just stuck out so much into their head.
Yeah, Texas, I got them lower, not too much lower. I do have them at 11. I think they're a very good team, as was evident week 1 playing at the Shoe. It's same kind of deal as Penn State, right? Like they played one tough game and then they played a bunch of nobodies, but they only lost by a touchdown at Ohio State, who's not a unanimous number 1, but they're up there. They've been number 1 since winning that. Bama, I think, is getting too many flowers. I think they're getting too many flowers.
Way too many.
Sitting at 10.
What are you doing?
I've got them down at 16, so not like super far below that. But, Bama's not a top 10 team for me. They got a really nice win over Georgia. Here's my thing with that. Let's play that game 9 more times at Georgia. I think Georgia wins 7 or 8 out of 10. I think Bama had a really good game, had a really good game plan going in there. I'm still not sold on Kalen DeBoer. I cannot be sold on Kalen DeBoer. And so Bama's sitting down at 16 for me, a little bit lower. Texas Tech, I already talked about. Georgia, I do have at 8. Here's the other thing other than Penn State. People are probably going to come at me for having Georgia 8 spots above Alabama after losing at home to Alabama. Georgia's the better team. Georgia is the better team.
Yes.
And that is why I have Georgia ranked higher. And I said what I said just a couple seconds ago. They played 10 times at Georgia. Georgia's winning 7, if not 8 of those 10.
And let me echo that a little bit, Noah, because watching that game, there was not one point where I was like, damn, no, Alabama looks that much better than Georgia. No, it looked like, Alabama was holding on more like by a thread than anything, and Georgia was just going with their game plan and getting work done. But
yeah, and Bama ended up putting up more points at the end of the game. Congratulations to them. They got a huge win that is going to potentially really benefit them when they're on the bubble.
Yeah.
of that last SEC team or two that's going to make the playoff.
Yeah.
Now, they got a huge matchup coming up this week. McCormick's saying Vandy going down this weekend. Enjoy those wins while they last. Well, I'm going to say pump the brakes there a little bit. And yes, I am skipping a little bit ahead. Vandy sitting at 16 here. I got them at 14, so not much different than the AP, but I do have them 2 spots above Alabama. I said 2 weeks ago, I tweeted it out. It's pinned right now for me. Vandy was plus 24. Plus 24. I believe I haven't seen the line. I think it's what, like 10.5 or
Let me look it up
9.5,
real quick.
something like that is the spread going into this one.
I'll get it pulled.
Why-
Keep talking.
Why does everybody want to not give Vandy their flowers?
Whoo, yeah. Drop down to 10.5 plus 328 on the money line.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. It was plus 1,000. Vandy plus 24. I love that DraftKings put that line out that early because you bet your ass I did slam the fuck out of Vandy plus 24. I'm like, Vandy's not losing by 24.
No.
No. Alabama should be on upset watch in this one, and they should be preparing for this game like it is a playoff game because this is going to have huge implications. Vandy's a very, very dangerous team. And Utah State, who they played this last week, they beat them by 20, 55-35. You could look at that and, oh, wow, not a good look for Vandy's defense, right? But then you look at, A&M and Utah State just 2 weeks ago. That one was 44-22. Not really much different. A&M's number 6. People aren't questioning A&M being number 6. I think Vandy's on an even playing field with A&M. I think they're maybe the third or fourth best team in the SEC this year. I don't have Bama in my top 4 in the SEC right now. And so it's going to be a tough environment to go into Bryant-Denny and see what happens. But if anybody's equipped to handle it, Diego Pavia is. And Diego Pavia is, he had to launch a fucking lawsuit to get his eligibility for this year. This man believes deep down in his fucking heart that Vandy's winning the national championship this year, and that's why he came back. And he's going to do everything in his power. They've got a really good roster outside of Pavia, but this is going to be a dogfight. I expect it to be a close game, but yeah, I got Vandy there. Forget what else was on there. Who'd I miss?
Oh, my bad, Noah. Let me get pulled back up for you.
Oh, LSU. I got down at 13, right where the AP has them. I was worried about LSU. They lost. They dropped. I did 9 spots, a little aggressive, but I think they were ranked too high to begin with.
Yeah.
Played. Talk about another team that played nobody, and then the one time they did play somebody in Florida, they were not overly impressive.
No.
Tennessee sitting at 15, I think, is ridiculous. I got them down at 20 this week. Yes, they won. If they lost, I would have contemplated dropping them out of my top 25 completely. I don't think they're that good. And then you got maybe the most disrespected team. And I'm going to say even more so than Vandy. You got Iowa State's getting more disrespect than Vandy.
Yeah, I would agree. I would completely agree.
What the fuck? I mean, you got 5-0 Iowa State, who's got 3 wins over power conference teams. You got an international game where they beat Kansas State. They beat Iowa, who's no scrubs. And then an Arizona team that's pretty good, and they go and beat us by fucking 30.
Help the ass.
Yeah. There's no reason Iowa State should be outside of the top 10. I only have them at 10, but I think there's a lot of talent above them. 14 just and staying put at 14 and not moving up after a 30-point trouncing of Arizona. And I know Arizona played shit last year with 3-9, but Arizona's been looking a lot better, and Iowa State just said, you're not even in our weight class.
Yeah.
And then feels very disrespectful to have Iowa State not move up a single spot, to stay at 14. Because you have multiple teams that were above them, that you moved below them, and then you had them leapfrog by a number of teams. They're going to be my number 1 for most disrespected team. Vandy's probably 2.
I like it. Noah. Let's go ahead and wrap up the top 25, Noah. As we've got Georgia Tech at 17, Florida State at 18, Missouri at 19, Michigan at 20, Notre Dame at 21, Illinois at 22, BYU at 23, Virginia at 24, Arizona State at 25. Huh. So you beat 24, you get to jump to 25? Is that how that works, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I've got ASU at 24, so I've actually got them one spot higher. I think the back-to-back wins over Baylor and TCU are.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it coming into the season, and it was like where they started at 11. I was like, that's way too high, too aggressive. But they, unfortunately, have squeaked out 2 wins against probably top third of the Big 12 conference opponents, against top 6 Big 12 teams, and so I got to put them in there. If we're going bottom up, I kept USC in my top 25.
Did you really?
Yep. They lost a road game that they were in for a good amount of time against Illinois, who I do have at 15, not 22.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest discrepancies is, I think Illinois, they went into Indiana and got their asses kicked 63-10. That was bad. But I also think Indiana's a really good team. I think Illinois is a really good team. I think that's a game where if Illinois-Indiana at Indiana, if you play that 10 times, I think Illinois wins 5 to 6 of those. And somehow they got the 0.1% of games where they lose by 53 points.
Yeah.
which did really hurt them for now. Illinois is going to have a chance to bounce back. They have a relatively easy Big Ten schedule, so I'm not worried about them slowly creeping their way back up the rankings. No, I think Illinois is a really good team, and USC went on the road to play them. I think USC is a really good team. They played a competitive game, so I kept them in there. I got BYU at 23. I'm working bottom up now. Utah I have at 22. The AP don't even have them in here. They got shellacked by a really good Texas Tech team at home. They bounced back with a massive blowout this week. I don't know why Utah is being disrespected by being kept up. From there, I got Missouri at 21. A lot of people feel like Missouri's not getting their flowers. They have kind of blown through their schedule so far. They look really good. I just feel like it's all going to come crashing down, and maybe I shouldn't be pulling in future speculation into where I got my rankings, but that's what I'm going to do. I already talked about Tennessee, got them at 20. Michigan off this week, kept them at 19. Their only fault, losing to a really good Oklahoma team.
Yeah.
On the road. Don't really care. Florida State, I did drop pretty good in my rankings. I have them at 18, which is exactly where they ended up with the AP. And I did make mine before the AP poll came out.
No, you did. You really do.
Can't be losing that game to Virginia.
No.
And shouldn't have lost that game. That was a weird, crazy back and forth game. Very entertaining. I do think Virginia is a good team. Not good enough to be in my top 25. It's going to be a big test playing at home against Miami this week. We're going to learn a lot more about Florida State and Miami.
Yeah.
We are. Georgia Tech, I dropped out of my rankings. I
Wow.
dropped their asses out of my rankings completely. I think I had them at 23, 24 last week. 23. I had them at 23, and I dropped them out because they damn near fucking lost the game to Wake Forest. They got saved by the fucking refs. The fucking refs, and they should have lost to Wake Forest. And if they lost to Wake Forest, I mean, AP dropped them one spot, but why did we have them at 16 to begin with? Like, they got so over-rewarded for beating Clemson.
Yeah, that was...
And where the fuck is Clemson? Where are they? They're not even anywhere near the top 25. And Georgia Tech got rewarded huge for beating a Clemson team that's not that good. And that's one I will admit I was wrong about coming into the season. And so, yeah, I didn't like what I saw out of Georgia Tech. I dropped them full out of my fucking rankings. I don't care. I'm like, you're on the outside until you prove that you should be on the inside. I don't care that they're 5-0. It's not a pretty 5-0.
No.
And I don't have a lot of faith in them not dropping like 3 ACC games, which is not a team I want in the top 25.
Not even a little bit, dude. Anything else?
Yeah, last team on my radar, Notre Dame. I got them at 17. A lot of people thought last week Notre Dame should have been dropped out of the top 25 completely. I said, they lost to A&M and Miami in 2 games where they could have won both of those. I don't care. They put absolute fucking belt to ass on Arkansas. Absolutely looked the part. So I moved them up 2 spots this week. I got them at 17. I don't think the season is over. I think Notre Dame does get into the playoffs with a very, very, very narrow loss at Miami and at home against Texas A&M. I'm not worried about them. They do have a tough matchup against USC coming up. A couple more matchups that could be a little tough on the schedule, but Notre Dame, where I sit with them right now, cannot drop another game. Another game. But if they win the rest of their schedule, I think they are slightly on the inside. I think they sneak into the playoff, so long as Miami or Texas A&M don't just completely melt down, fall apart. So
I agree.
I thought it was ridiculous that people thought Notre Dame, with 2 losses last week, should be out of the top 25. I didn't even drop them outside of my top 20. And they're at 17 right now. They're going to have an opportunity because a lot of the teams ahead of them have much tougher schedules, will lose games. Notre Dame just keeps beating up on their opponents. They'll be fine. They'll be in the top 12.
Yeah, I'm not. And, again, close games on both of those losses. Not worried. Not worried about Notre Dame. I don't know why, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a extra point snafu that probably cost you the game against Miami, and then against A&M. You got to play at the end where there were 2 penalties that probably weren't called that gave A&M the go-ahead winning touchdown. You had a holding on the offensive line and a probably PI or a holding in the secondary that both somehow went uncalled there. Like, Notre Dame's about 2 plays away from being undefeated right now and probably being ranked in the top 5 if they were undefeated with wins over Miami and A&M. So that's the difference between them being ranked 5 and being ranked, 20, 21, wherever they are right now. I think it's so razor thin. I could even argue Notre Dame all the way up to like 12 in my rankings right now. If I really wanted to sit.
I mean, hey, and honestly, I think if you're an AP voter, you can make that argument too with the bullshit they're pulling on this list. But I like Notre Dame a lot. I think they're going to continue to play well. So let's hope that they can win out and we can see them in the playoff again. But anything else in college football? Top 25, Noah?
No, probably not right now, because I could go on and on about the teams I have just outside of the top 25, but we're going to let the play on the field decide that, because I do have 6 or 7 teams on my radar right outside. We're going to see what happens this week.
Just give us the list. Just give us the list. No explanation, just the list.
Well, I mean, Mississippi State, they're on there. Louisville, Baylor still, even though they have been they've got a big uphill battle coming this year. USF, Memphis, my 2 kind of group of 5 teams. Interesting to just like pay attention to them. I think it's more than likely one of the 2 of them is grabbing that group of 5 slot. But you got a couple other teams in there that it could surprise. So always interesting to keep your eyes open. Maryland. Huge matchup against Washington this week. I fully expect them to have a number in front of their name if they can take care of business, go to 5-0, beat a solid Washington team. And off the top of my head, I'm sure I'm leaving out a couple, but I got a nice little, like I said, 6, 7, 8 team watch list that those are my teams I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not making any promises for them, but we're going to keep an eye on, see what happens.
There you go. I like that list. No, those are some good teams to watch out for. I feel like Baylor is starting to become your Sung J.M. though.
I feel like I bet against them more than I bet on them this year.
Maybe this year, but just in general, I feel like Baylor is a Sung J for you. But anyway.
They weren't even on my radar last year. And then coming into this year with Sawyer Robertson, I was like, okay, yeah, they could be something. Yeah. And then they lost to Auburn. And then they bounced back with a huge win over SMU, but it turns out SMU is not that good. And then they lost to ASU, and so now I'm like, I don't know. I still think there's a lot of good with Baylor, but they're also kind of in a Notre Dame standpoint where, granted, one of those losses is not a conference loss, but they can't afford to lose more than one more game this year, and they don't have a particularly easy schedule.
No, not at all. Not at all. But with that, no, before we move to the NFL in week 4, you down to take a quick break and then we'll break it down?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Before we do that, just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Helps us out a lot more than you know. I'm the Brofix one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll see you guys in a moment. Good.
Yes, sir.
3, 2, maybe. And we are back. What's up, D-Gens? Perfect One AJ here with the Money Train. Noah, as we are getting ready to break down week 4 of the NFL, Noah. And I guess the thing I want to start with is we're going to be talking a lot about injuries this week, Noah. A lot about injuries, a lot of bad injuries, and just a rough weekend in the injury department, fantasy department, et cetera, et cetera. But you ready to get into this?
Yeah, man. Fucking rest in peace, my fantasy team. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, seriously. And T's and P's to everyone who got injured this week. Good luck on recovery. Hopefully surgery and everything is okay. And we'll get to all of those cases here in a moment. But so last Thursday was my birthday, Noah. Last Thursday was my birthday, and I was cautiously excited because I can't remember the last time I've had the Arizona Cardinals play on my birthday, let alone win a game on my birthday. And I was treated to the most miserable first half I have ever had to sit through this year as a Arizona football fan, Noah. And then it got progressively worse from there. Seahawks go ahead and win this one 23-20.
Until it got better for a second.
Huh?
I said until it got better for a little bit.
Yeah, but it's Arizona sports, so those moments come and go very, very quickly, Noah. And again, we shouldn't have been in that position. We always talk about you can't be getting mad at the rules, you can't be getting mad at the refs because you can't put yourself in the position for rules or officiating to decide the outcome of the game if something goes your way. And unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, that played a big part in it. And I've been struggling with this part, Noah, because Marvin Harrison Jr., 10 targets, 6 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Fine stat line, fine stat line. And I get it. It's his second year and everything. But, bruh, I can't keep watching him just drop these footballs. And I understand he only dropped 4 balls this time. Okay, great. But they were 4 big catches and 4 big movements that were drive killers and just stuff we had to have, and stunted the momentum of the offense that we struggled to get in general. And again, I'm glad that we continued to go to him and that we trust him and that he was able to catch that touchdown. I don't know who was more relieved, the entire Arizona Cardinals fan base or Marvin Harrison Jr. himself, but it's rough. And now with James Conner being out, Trey Benson had a fine game. I mean, 8 attempts for 35 yards. We couldn't really afford to run the ball that much, but
which is crazy that he. That's a whole nother thing that I'll get into in just a second. But that he only had eight carries.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad Kyler's running the football a little bit more. That touchdown run he had was exciting, but oh no, that was I'm thinking of Justin Fields. I hate Arizona football. But I mean, Kyler's interceptions weren't pretty. Yes, this game ended close. This was another one of those. The final score doesn't really show the whole story. And
absolutely.
And the Cardinals are not good. We have issue. We're injured everywhere on defense, and even then it was questionable. O-line is soft. Our star running back's injured. I mean, this team's going to have moments. It's going to have its games here and there where they look competent and look like they can do something. But it's going to be the same old Cardinals this year and the next year, and until we get rid of Kyler at this point. And I hate to put it on Kyler because Kyler isn't looking that bad right now. He looks like he's taking those steps and actually growing as a quarterback. And the rest of the team now is holding him back. It's this weird ebb and flow with the Cardinals, and I don't know what the solution is, man.
Yeah, no, it's tough because they look every bit a 500 team.
Yeah.
You saw it week 1 and 2 against the Saints and the Panthers, and this is why I was all over the Seahawks last week. I know we didn't get a chance to go live. I unfortunately was a little ill, but Yeah, the more I started diving into this, I was like, oh, the Cardinals beat the Saints and the Panthers, and then they had a close one against the Niners, but the Niners are probably the most injured team in football right now, and at the end of the day, all that matters is wins and losses, right? But
Yeah,
yeah, you start diving deeper into it, and like there's a lot of fundamental issues here with the Cardinals.
so
Like,
many.
I
Oh,
think you could go back to hiring Gannon as the head coach. I don't know that was probably the right hire. I think there's enough talent on this Cardinals team that if you had a more hard ass head coach in the building, somebody who's really going to preach more accountability and everything, this Cardinals team could be 3 to 4 wins better than they probably will be this year. But the Seahawks aren't bad by any means.
no.
They're
No, they actually look good.
yeah. Darnold played really well this game.
Yeah,
And,
he did.
what I'm going to come down to here is like, how do you abandon the run? Like the Connor injury sucks. It sucks. It is, but it is what it is. And that happened, and I said, okay, I unfortunately in my fantasy leagues was not able to claim Trey Benson because if you do have him, do not trade him. Just hold on to him because I do think he could very well be a top 10 fantasy back from here on out the rest of the season. If the Cardinals will give him touches. If they'll give him touch, like you cannot abandon the run game like that. I don't care. Like this game, yeah, you were down. You were down a couple scores. You cannot abandon the run. Like that's just a fundamental football thing, at least for me, is you cannot abandon the run game. I mean, if you go down 30 points and it's like, okay, we're down four touchdowns and we need to do something. Like obviously you're not running the ball much then. That makes sense.
No.
The Cardinals were never down so bad that they needed to abandon the run game, and they did. And I think Kyler Murray plays his best football when he's in a nice balanced offense. Like if you're dealing with Kyler Murray, you got to run the ball to open up the play action and the other throws, and then let Kyler run around, use his legs to open up even more. And that's when the Cardinals are dangerous. But if you're going to abandon the run game and Seattle does not have to blitz and they can drop 7 back into coverage, every single play, there's not going to be a lot open. And Kyler, unfortunately, can't see over his line of scrimmage that well, so he does have to move around to work things open so that he has passing lanes. It's not the end of the world. We've seen other short quarterbacks have success, and it can work. We've seen it work. It just does not work when you don't establish the run game, and abandoning that and only giving Trey Benson 8 carries is crazy to me. Is crazy. And it's not like he got 8 carries and DeMercado got 7, right? Like
DeMercado got 2. DeMercado got 2. Trey Benson got 8. Kyler Murray had 5. Greg Dortch, our number 4 wide receiver, had a carry. Our number 4 wide receiver had a carry for 4 yards. And then some guy named Carter. I had to look up if this guy was actually on the roster or not. I'd never heard of him before. He's on the roster. And listen, here's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Arizona is so in over its head of where we're at. We did not commit to a full rebuild when we got Kyler Murray. We did not commit to building around Kyler Murray. We fucking dumped Kyler Murray. We're the Bears. We dumped Kyler Murray into a shitty situation, fired his head coach, fired the GM, got 2 new guys in and said everything's going to be different, and we look the exact same.
And then fired them. Yeah, no, it's it's funny. It's funny because Kyler's now on his 3rd contract in the NFL, but he's also on his 3rd head coach. And
no, he's on his 2nd. He is not on his 3rd. He's on his 2nd.
Did he get drafted with Kingsbury? I thought he got drafted before Kingsbury got in there.
No, he got drafted with Kingsbury. Kingsbury came in there his first year with Kyler. Hold on, he is. It always shocks me how long Kyler Murray has been with us and how shitty he's been. Where is Spotrac? There we go. Kyler Murray's first year with us in 2022. And we are committed to him until our club out at 2028. that carries. It doesn't project the cap hit, but it is a 12.4%. God bless it.
He was not drafted in 2022, but
Oh fuck, that wasn't. Oh my god, that is his third contract. Oh my god.
yeah, I don't know that Kyler Murray is the solution. Does he deserve to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? I'm going to say yes. But he hasn't had the coaching to get him over the hump. He hasn't had the surrounding players, the offensive line, the defense to get him there. And yeah, I mean, Cardinals have to look themselves in the mirror and just there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And it's like, where do you start fixing that? Like, what's the most important? Can they be a competitive playoff team? I think they're not far from it. At some point, you have these 5 different things you need to fix. You got to at least address one of them. You got to
nothing.
One or two of them for starters. And if you're not going to do that, just go into a rebuild. Just throw the towel in and go into a rebuild.
All these teams though are so scared of it. Though they're so scared of.
No, and we see it time and time again, but it's like you got kind of 2 paths to go here that make sense, right? It's either make some splashy moves and try to make this team competitive and fight for something, or throw the towel in and go for a rebuild. I mean, you're not getting any benefit out of winning 6 to 9 games every year.
No. And the amount of teams that are just a quarterback away from making a run or something is so few and far between. And that's the thing with the Cardinals. Like, that's why I'm not upset with Kyler anymore. Like, Kyler's doing his best and he's showing improvement, but he's doing the best with what he's got. And what he's got right now, what he's had for the last 7 years as an Arizona Cardinal, is not one single coach who can put him into a system that he's comfortable with. His college OC couldn't do it. The other guy after him couldn't do it. And now Gannon can't do it. I mean, anyway, let's stop talking about the Cardinals before I get mad and don't want to watch them this weekend. I was so hot on Thursday. Oh my God. Anyway, let's take it across the pond, Noah, because don't you forget, we do have to wake up early on NFL Sundays if we want to watch every game. Minnesota Vikings taking an L to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 24-21. Steelers improved to 3-1. Aaron Rodgers, 18 for 22, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I'm not going to lie, Noah, just watched a lot of highlights on this one. Was a little bit early for me after Saturday. But, I mean, listen, the Steelers are going to grind it out. Weird shit always happens across the pond, Noah. We know that. I don't really know it. I don't know what to really wrap this up at. I mean, Carson Wentz throwing for 46 times. Like, that just seems a little unnecessary, no matter how much you're down or anything like that.
Well, when you get down 24-6, I mean, it's going to happen.
I guess, but
yeah, no. Luckily for you, I did get up and watch this game.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, interesting game. If you're a Jaylen Warren fantasy owner and you were asleep before the kickoff and weren't paying attention, you're probably really mad about this. Warren getting ruled out like shortly before kickoff. Kenneth Gainwell had a phenomenal game. But yeah, Pittsburgh, let's not get it wrong. They were in control of 95% of this game. Vikings clawed back late. 7.5 minutes left. We're down 24-6. Get to 21-24, fail an onside kick, make a defensive stop, get the ball back with 1 minute and 10 seconds left and an opportunity to do something. Killer intentional grounding that really put the nail in the coffin there. But this game was not close for 52 minutes of it. And then the Vikings finally came alive. And Vikings are interesting. They're sitting at 2-2. They've played, outside of that Bengals game, they've played 2 decent quarters in the other 3 games.
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't really know what to make of the Vikings. I mean, they're fine. They're whatever. They're probably on probably on an even playing field with the Cardinals with a much larger spread of what you can get from them. I think their ceiling in any given game is higher, but their floor is much, much lower.
Well,
So
yeah, the Vikings have 2 receivers, and we've got one who can't catch a football. I mean, shit, Jordan Addison came back this week. I mean, ugh.
yeah,
Anyway.
so interesting. Pittsburgh, definitely doing what they always do. They're going to tough grind it away. They're never going to win pretty because they don't like doing that. And Aaron Rodgers had a fine game. He had a fine game. Kenneth Gainwell, obviously a big game here, and
I did see a.
now you got Pittsburgh sitting in first place in the AFC North there.
You gotta love it. I saw an AI video this weekend, and it was Aaron Rodgers like levitating, and he was like a cyborg, and he said, "Jarvis, activate perk Rodgers." And he just it was great. Anyway, shout out to Perk Rogers. Let's move it on to the early slate, Noah, or I guess the medium slate. I don't know what to call it. Commanders, Falcons. Answer some demons here. Exercise them a little bit. 34-27 the win here. Michael Penix, 20 for 26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Did run the ball 4 times for 2 yards as well. Nice bounce back game for Penix. Marcus Mariota, not so much. 16 for 27, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception here, Noah. The Falcons are just Jekyll and Hyde, dude. They are.
You stole the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say that.
I really feel like it's a flip of the coin on, are we going to see a Falcons team that looked smart for benching Kirk Cousins for the rookie? Or are we going to see a Falcons team where it's like, maybe Kirk Chains would have done some well there in Atlanta?
Yeah, no, and they've proven it through 4 weeks. This is an Atlanta team that can be competitive, can beat good teams, and they're also an Atlanta team that can lose 30-0 to Carolina. And I don't think that's going to change as the season goes along. I think they're going to be one of the hardest teams to bet on, one of the hardest teams to pinpoint. Because it's a new system, new players. It's inconsistent. It's like, what the fuck are we getting from Atlanta? Yeah. They're on a bye week this week, so we'll see what happens 2 weeks from now. But Washington missing Jaden Daniels, I think, here. Mariota didn't play great. Didn't play like horribly awful. Washington needs to find their identity. They were one of my biggest candidates coming into this season for teams that made the playoffs last year that would miss it this year. And I feel pretty good about that, honestly. Not that you want to hear that if you're a Washington fan, but this doesn't look like a playoff team to me. And Eckler being out, Daniel's missing some time. The defense doesn't look all that great. The offensive line doesn't look all that great. You got McLaurin back, but he hasn't really fully clicked back into this offense. And so Washington has a lot to work on. Atlanta, I think it's going to be a week-by-week, case-by-case scenario on what the fuck we're seeing from the Atlanta Falcons, because I really don't know how to assess this team.
No.
It's all over the board, and I'm going to just keep watching more Atlanta Falcons football to see how I feel about them.
What's going on? What is possibly going on? Yeah, I'm with you there, dude.
I may never figure it out.
Well, I think there is one thing. I think we know what these two teams are that we're going to be talking about next. Welcome to Blowout City, brought to you by the Buffalo Bills, 31-19. Saints 0-4. Spencer Rattler, 0-for as a starter in the NFL.
Joins the 0-10 club now.
Yeah, he does. Congratulations, I guess, to Spencer Rattler. That's one thing I will congratulate him on. So congratulations on that award, Spencer, and being a part of that very exclusive club.
Couldn't happen to a more deserving player.
For sure. But dude, what do you want to talk about? Like, the Saints look like shit. The Bills look good. The Bills look every bit as a 4-0 team. The Saints look every bit as an 0-4 team.
Yeah, no, the Saints are really bad. But here's what I will say about the Saints. I'm going to throw a little positive light on them. They have some fight. They do.
Yeah, for sure.
They do have some fight, and we've seen that through 4 weeks. And my coming into the season saying I think there's a good chance the Saints finish 0-17. I'm going to say they don't finish 0-17. Now
Ooh.
I'm flipping my script on that because they are showing enough fight that I do think they steal it. I still think they're going to be
Game.
really bad, maybe the worst
Yeah.
team in the NFL. But I don't think there's a small chance that the Saints win a game or two at some point this season, stealing those from somebody because they are showing fight. Which, if you're a Saints fan, you're going to end up with a really good draft pick, and it's nice to see that your team isn't just getting mollywopped every single week. And the Bills are a really good team. Could have easily beat the Saints by more than this. The 15.5 point spread. Glad I took the 9.5 alt spread. Bills are really good. We'll see what happens when the playoffs roll around. I mean,
Always.
I hate that I have to bring that up, but for the Bills, it's like, all right, they just feel like regular season warriors all the time, and so we'll see what happens when the playoffs roll around. But yeah, only winning this one by 12 when you're 15.5 point favorites. If you're a Bills fan, you probably would have liked to see more of a blowout, and this game was close
Yeah.
in the second half. The Bills had to backdoor cover my 9.5, which was an alt spread that was bought down 6 whole fucking points. So, and they were at home. Like, again, this Saints team, they have fight in them. They do have fight in them. I do think at this point they will win a game or 2 or 3 at some point this season. Are they going to win more than 3? Probably not. But, Bills were imperfect in this game, and if they're imperfect against good teams, they could catch some L's, and that's kind of my takeaway here.
I get where you're coming from, and honestly, I'm trying to see if they have any live whatchamacallit. I don't see it. The Saints, though, are, I think, proving a very good point for the NFL, and that is that there is no tanking in the NFL. There are still guys out there, no matter how bad the team is, that are going to go out there and fight and try to win every football game. And I think the Saints are, actually able to put that on tape and show that. So shout out to the Saints maybe shutting up the tanking allegations. So
well, even Rattlers look decent at times.
Yeah. It's like I can't really shit on him for bad quarterback play because the good stuff is good and the bad stuff is that because the O-line's bad? Is that because he doesn't know what he's looking at? Is that coaching? Is that I don't want to make a bunch of excuses for the guy, but that's how I'm looking at it,
Yeah. So again, we'll see how the season plays out. You could probably look at it at this point and say, so far this season, the Bills have been the best team in the league. Saints have probably been the worst. Do I think the Bills go undefeated? No. Do I think the Saints go 0-17? I thought maybe coming into the season, but after seeing them through 4 weeks, I must say no. And I don't even know if they're the worst team in the league right now.
Well, their quarterback didn't come out and say their ass, so we'll get to them in a moment. I got a funny story about that. Let's move on to the next game, Noah. Cleveland Brownies, Detroit Lions looking a lot more comfortable the last couple of weeks, looking a lot more like themselves after the coordinator change. 34-10, the final score here. Joe Flacco has played so bad in the eyes of the Cleveland coaching staff that Dylan Gabriel will be getting the ball this week and be the starter. Shockingly over Shedeur Sanders. I know Paul Feinbaum, as he's deciding whether he wants to run for the Senate or not, is really upset about that. Detroit did Detroit things and the Browns did Browns things, Noah. Like this Detroit team, it's just like last year when they are on, when they have, that offense running as smooth as it does, when not everyone is injured on the defense. This is a playoff level team, and Dan Campbell loving to keep the foot on the gas. Will that bite him in the ass one day? No, it's still TBD. But this Lions team just looking like they're getting back into shape, and maybe everyone was overreacting after week 1 and the coordinators being gone.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily an overreaction. I mean, we'll see. Honestly, I thought the Browns played a good 30 minutes.
Great 30 minutes, yeah.
Just couldn't keep that going for a full 60.
No.
It's interesting. Like this Browns defense is really good, but when they've come against really powerful offenses, i.e., the Ravens and the Lions, they haven't been able to fully stand up to that. But then you
No.
look at the game against the Packers and even the game week 1 against the Bengals, they held their own really good. And I do
Yeah.
think this is a solid Browns defense. They just don't have the offense to back it up. And they have shown that they can get vastly overpowered by an offense. I don't think the Browns are going to win a ton of games this year. I really don't think it matters who they have at quarterback. I don't think they're going to be any worse for the wear having Dylan Gabriel in there versus Joe Flacco. If it does come to Shador at any point, which it very well could, I don't think this team looks any better or worse, to be honest. And so we'll see what happens here. They play the Vikings in London next week.
Yeah.
That one I do think is anybody's game. And it's going to be interesting. I do think that is a game where the Browns defense could show up, show out, and really be the talk of the game.
Put some pressure on Carson Wentz, have him make the same mistakes that he's known to make. I mean,
again, are they going to win more than 6 or 7 games? Probably not. They stole one against Green Bay, and yeah, they could have had one week 1 against the Bengals, and I think there's going to be plenty of games that the Browns are in. I think they're going to be for me, they're going to be a team that I'm going to love to take 7+ point spreads to cover, but not to win. And that's kind of where I am with the Browns. I think they're going to be a really good cover team, but not have a great record at the end of the season. So we'll see how that all plays out for them. The Lions offense, obviously, cranking, on all cylinders like they have been. They got back to it, and so Lions should be a good team again. They should be a good team again, but we'll see once they start running into some more defenses that actually have offenses to counteract.
Yeah. For sure.
Because I don't like Detroit's defense. I do want to be clear about that.
I don't either.
Like their defense this year. I know they got a shit ton of sacks against the Ravens. Reason they won that game was like 7 or 8 sacks or whatever the fuck they had against Lamar. Didn't quite have the sack total in this one, but Cleveland's offense is just not the Ravens' offense. It's not a lot of offenses, and so we'll see. For me, jury's still out a little bit on the Lions. They should be They should be a playoff team. They'll be competing for the NFC North, but we'll see what happens.
They adopted that style of football of, no, we're going to score more points than you. You got to keep up with us. And the defense just needs to prevent one touchdown from happening. But cool. Let's move it on, Noah, to another team that's got a boatload of issues. But I respect that this team has issues because they feel like they've actually committed to a full rebuild and understand that it's going to be some growing pains. So I'm not overly concerned about it. I think they're right on schedule of where they need to be, that being the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Texans win this one 26-0. CJ Stroud, 22 for 28, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Cam Ward, 10 for 26, 108 yards, 1 interception. Cam Ward coming out after the game and to the media saying, if we keep in it a buck, we ass. And I'd agree with Cam Ward on this one. They certainly don't look good on defense and have a lot of issues on offense. But again, I don't think this is the same Tennessee Titans team we're going to see in 3 years. I don't think it's the same Tennessee Titans team we're going to see in 2 years. I think they understand that the next couple of years are a lot of moving parts and getting guys that they want, getting guys they need, and how they want to develop and this not only the culture but the schemes and what fits Cam Ward. Because I do think they have Cam Ward. I mean, I understand his stats might not scream that he's the next guy, but you watch him play, you watch the tape, he passes the eye test, and he's doing very good things. I think everything else is kind of the issue, but now they can build around a quarterback. So, yeah, they suck. I mean, I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. They suck right now, but not something I'm overly concerned of for this season. They knew this season was going to essentially be a wash.
Yeah, no, I think right now they're worse than the Saints. They're probably the worst team in the league right now. For me, the difference is, I think by week 10, 11, 12, going to be a dangerous team in the sense of like you can't let your guard down against them, right? Like they're going to get better. Cam Ward has looked. This game was probably his worst game so far in the NFL. It's a 4-game sample. It's not that bad, but Ward looks. He's looked decent. He looked terrible in this game. Houston's defense, who I was really, really high on coming into this season, hasn't been that great. Their offense has been more of a liability, but Houston was not going to lose this game and drop to 0-4. It was just not going to happen.
No.
Especially not at home. And they win 26-0. Yeah, I'm not surprised by the outcome of this one. Tennessee's got a lot of pieces they still need to fill, but Cam Ward looks really good. Alec Manor, I think, will be the number one wide receiver 2 years from now in Tennessee.
I like him a lot.
I can't believe he just got no attention. Like if you saw what he did at Stanford, you knew that this guy was dangerous, and he should be the number one receiver. He has not had a breakout game, but he's had 3, if not 4, decent games so far to start. And once the two of them start really gelling, I think the Cam Ward to Alec Manor show is going to be really fun to watch. And so I'm excited for that. Again, I said coming into the season, I was like, all right, I'm going to fade Tennessee a lot early, but give it about the halfway point, maybe a little later in the season, Tennessee's going to be a dangerous team. So I think there's a lot more upside to be looking forward to than if you're a Saints fan right now. But yeah, right now, the reality is you suck.
Yeah.
You suck. Yes. And things will get better. Yeah. They'll continue to improve. But yeah, right now, not good. Houston, I don't know how the fuck they started 0-3, but they do get the win here. They are favored playing at Baltimore.
Well, Lamar's out.
Yeah, which is probably a big factor in that. But who would have thought week 5 we'd be looking at Houston favored at Baltimore? Both teams sitting at 1-3. Playoff hopes are going to be real slim for either team if they lose this game. And so this is, I would argue, this will be the most important game of the season for any individual two teams in the same game. It's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. But Stroud played a good game for the first time this season. I know Tennessee's defense ain't great, but yeah, I'm not overly sold on Houston right now, but I did think there was no way they were losing this one, and
there was no way they did. So shout out to Houston getting their first win, and CJ Stroud looking like he might be back. Let's see what they do this week against the Ravens. Next game on the slate, we had the Panthers 42-13. Drake May 14 for 17 for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. They were up so much, Josh Dobbs got to get a couple of snaps.
The Pastronaut.
The Pastronaut got to get in there for a little bit. And Bryce Young was playing so bad in this game, got so out of hand. Dalton got to go ahead and take a couple of snaps as well. The Panthers suck too. I'm just struggling to find words because it's another one of those things where there's just so many things going wrong. They kind of committed to a rebuild. They kind of half-assed the rebuild with Bryce Young. I don't even think it's a rebuild if we're going to be honest. Feels more like a plug-and-play situation, but
no, I would say they committed to it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
They need to find their identity. That's for sure.
For damn sure.
What a way to follow up a 30-0 trouncing of a division rival in Atlanta with just getting your ass fucking handed to you by a mediocre New England Patriots team. This comes down to coaching. This game comes down to coaching for me. Vrabel had his team more prepared, more willing to play, and that showed on the field. It showed on the field. And Bryce Young needs to maybe have a coach, GM, coordinator, somebody step into his ear and say, hey, if you want to stay a fucking starting quarterback in the NFL, work on the fucking attitude. Because, like, we've seen twice now this year where Bryce Young just kind of looks lackadaisical, like he doesn't care what's going on. He's already battling the fact that he's not super tall. He's like 5'11", probably. I think he's listed at 6', 6'1", something, but he's probably 5'11". He's got so much talent, but
Yeah.
the effort's not always there, and that's what kills me with Bryce Young is the effort's not always there, and he's not going to keep a starting job forever if he's not bringing that 100% of the time. And this Panthers team, much like the Falcons, I think we can see a very different Panthers team week in and week out. But I think the towel gets like I don't know if it's in the locker room, whatever. Again, I don't think they have the right coaches in place, but it feels like this Panthers team, as soon as shit starts turning downwards, they just throw the towel in and they're like, all right, well, it's another loss. They have a loser's mentality. And I think that's the biggest issue with the Panthers is they do have a loser's mentality. And so as soon as stuff starts turning bad, they throw in the towel and they give up and they say, all right, well, we'll move on to next week. And that I think was totally evident in this game. I don't think the Patriots are 30 points better than the Panthers by any means, but this is what's going to happen when you have a guy at the helm like Mike Vrabel on one side, and then you got the Panthers on the other.
Dan Canales, shout out to him. You know who Bryce Young really reminds me of? A young Kyler Murray. Attitude problems, lackadaisical, gets frustrated easy, maybe some off-field issues with video games. Like, I don't know. He might also get a, $300 million deal and be their starting quarterback for the next 9 years.
I mean, if he strings together 6 to 7 really good games, that's all it took.
That's all Kyler had to do. So I hate the Cardinals so much. It took 4 weeks, and I'm at this point, Noah. I honestly thought I was going to at least make it to week 6.
Because that was what Kyler in his contract year started 7-0 and then finished 10-7, and then they just backed up the brakes truck to him.
Yeah, that's what we did, Noah. So Bryce Young could very much be on the same trajectory there.
He will need to start stringing together more wins though to get there.
Yeah,
and not be having Andy Dalton coming into games.
Yeah, he's got to keep Dalton off the field, that's for sure. Next game, Noah. I want to overreact so badly. I'm not going to, but I want to. Okay, I just want to say that when I'm going into this one. Chargers, Giants. Giants take this one 21-18 in Jackson Dart's debut at MetLife. 13-20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Russell Wilson got to come in for a little bit. Justin Herbert, 23 for 41, 203 yards, one touchdown, 2 interceptions, some rare mistakes from Justin Herbert. But, when you move away from more of a run-first option, I mean, I know Marion Hampton has 128 yards on this game, but still it felt like they were very much, hey, let's look to pass this ball, move it downfield.
On 12 carries.
Yeah, on 12 carries. And again, great game from him. Would have loved to see what he did with maybe 15. But good stuff, out of him. Good stuff out of the Chargers. It was just on Jackson Dart and the Giants side. I mean, Dart didn't play, I think, like out of this world or anything like that. I like the rushing out of him, but
he ran the ball well. He ran the
ball real well.
He scrambled well.
Yeah, and that's what he would do well at Ole Miss too. And he had some good bombs there and everything, but would like to see him throw the ball a little bit more. Not going to overreact to this too much, like I said, but who knows? Daboll, that was the first time I think I've seen Daboll like actually happy after a game, like legitimately happy after a game.
Yeah.
But so shout out to Daboll for getting to smile for once. I don't know where you at with them.
Yeah, good win for the Giants. Rest in peace, Malik Neighbors. Rest in peace, my fantasy team.
Okay, by the way, speaking of Malik Neighbors and T's and P's to him, how many ACLs since 2021 do you think MetLife has claimed?
Far, far, far too many, man.
15 ACLs since 2021, including Malik Neighbors.
That's crazy work. Crazy work.
That's insane. That is like, I can't even do the math on how many that is a year. That's one too many a year for just one stadium, and it's a lot of it's off-ball injuries. Like, bruh.
Yeah, that turf needs to be studied. But yeah, I'll start with the Chargers here. Give the damn ball to Marion Hampton more.
Why are we not?
And now, Najee Harris, he's out for the year. The efficiency, and Marion Hampton hasn't had a lot of touches through 4 weeks. He has not had a lot of touches, which is fine. Rookie running back, whatever. His efficiency is at like an all-time fucking high. Like, this dude is more efficient than Genty. He's more efficient than all but maybe 2 or 3 starting running backs in the entire NFL right now. And you're going to limit him to 12 carries? I know they use him a little bit in the pass game too, but like, just open it up. Like, I know he's a rookie, but this may be your best player right now on offense.
Marion Hampton, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 37 yards for that.
Yeah, just I think it's pretty cut and clear if you're the Chargers. Just feed the fucking ball to O'Marion Hampton, and he's young, so you can give him 25 touches a game. Like, you can absolutely give him 25, 28, 30 touches a game. He'll be fine for now. I mean, obviously you want to start dialing that down a couple of years into his career maybe, but as of now, I mean, I think your offense, as much as the play action worked for him through 3 weeks and all that, just run your offense through Marion Hampton. You're going to be just fine if you're the Chargers. Giants side of the ball, they strung together a nice, okay game. I think Jackson Dart's legs kind of threw the Chargers' game plan off a little bit.
For sure.
Not that Russell Wilson can't run the ball, but he is older, so I don't know. But man, Neighbors getting injured, that hurts, because now the Giants, without Neighbors, probably have the worst wide receiver room in the entire league. And so good luck, good riddance, Jackson Dart. You are without, for now, Tyrone Tracy, who's a decent back. Scadaboo's been playing really well. He's going to do what he does and probably carry this team and this offense. But it's going to be kind of tough sledding for the Giants, I think. They do have a really, really nice defensive front that I am big time high on. I'm kind of big on this defense in general. I think the Giants built a nice defense here. I don't think they're going to win a ton of games, though, because I don't care who's playing quarterback. I mean, now with Malik Neighbors out, who's getting like fucking 55% of the target share on offense, it's going to be tough. I mean, do you think Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, any of those guys are stepping up to – I mean, they're going to get more work, but they're not filling those shoes. Those shoes are too big to fill.
Yeah.
It's not happening. They struck gold with Malik Neighbors, and now he's out for the season. And so with Malik Neighbors gone, as is the Giants season.
R.I.P. Yeah, but Jackson Dart, hell of a game that first one. He might, if he keeps playing like this, though, he might be able to beat out Shedeur Sanders for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I don't think either of them are getting it, but
you don't think Shedor's getting it?
Shedeur has to play a game to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. Well, maybe not. Maybe they'll just
I was about to say, come on, Noah.
Shedeur plays a total of 2 snaps. He's 2 for 2 for 45 yards and a touchdown, and they're like, yep, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He's got 100% completion rating, QBR of 100. I mean, shit. Give it to the man. This was one of the better games in the early slate, Noah. Tampa Bay and the Eagles. Eagles come away with this one 31-25. Do you think A.J. Brown's getting traded?
No.
I don't either.
No.
He ain't happy, though.
Devontae's not either. Well, they can be unhappy. They can both murder Jalen Hurts, but it's not even that much about Jalen Hurts. Sirianni is running a well-oiled fucking machine in Philadelphia. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are not always going to get very good games out of this because it is what it is. Saquon's going to get his touches. Hurts is going to get a bunch of rushes. I think ideally Sirianni wants Hurts throwing the ball 25, 20 times or less a game. And I don't think anything's going to change.
No.
And we've seen this from the Eagles the last 2 years, and it's going to be the same story. And if they need to throw the ball, they will. They'll open it up and throw it. They have 2 very capable, very good receivers. Yep. But they're not going to get a ton of work unless they need to. If the Eagles are playing from ahead, they're not going to throw the ball a lot. They're not going to throw the ball a lot. And when they do throw it, they're not going to air it out deep very often. And that's just going to be the reality of the situation. The Eagles are a very, very sound football team, probably the best team in the league still. Yes, they're coming off a Super Bowl win. They've probably been the best team in the league for 2.5 years now. And it's because they're so fundamentally sound on so, like, there's not a bad aspect of this Eagles team. And you can nitpick the fact that Hurts doesn't throw the ball much. He's not that great of a passing quarterback, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're not asking him to do it. They won't ask him to do it unless they're playing from behind. And I don't see the Eagles really playing from behind very much, if at all. So the reality of the situation is it doesn't matter. And Hurts is I think he's a great leader.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think he shows tremendous leadership skills and experience. They played from behind last week when they needed to against the Rams. And he was calm, poised, collected, all that. Tampa Bay did come back a little bit in this one, make it a game. But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's fucking annoying because I hate that it's the Eagles in this position, but they're just so fundamentally sound that you have to be a good team and play a perfect game against the Eagles if you're going to beat them. And Tampa Bay played a good game. You could even say they played a great game. They did not play a perfect game against the Eagles, and they lost at home because of it. Tampa Bay is a really good team, but it doesn't matter because you have to play perfect or damn near perfect to beat the Eagles because they're not going to beat themselves.
No, they are not. And yeah, I mean, Tampa played fine. They tried to come back, but just too little, too late. I still like this Tampa team a lot. I think they're playoff bound and really good. But like you said, Noah, special teams, defense, offense, this Eagles team knows what they're doing, and they really, like, you put it perfect. Sirianni is running a well-oiled machine in Philadelphia.
They don't do anything bad. They don't do anything bad. So there's no weakness to attack.
No.
You have to, and the only thing you can do to combat this Eagles team is to play perfect yourself on all three aspects of the game.
Yeah. And one mistake and the Eagles will jump on it and make you regret it. They've done that multiple times now, and it's going to continue to happen. But
which is why I won't be surprised if they're on pace for another 14-15 win season. Yes, they might drop a game or two or maybe even 3, but it's not going to matter. They should grab the 1 seed in the NFC. Like, this team's just so fucking fundamentally sound, and it pisses me off because I hate the fucking Eagles. And if any fan base deserves a fundamentally sound team, it's not Philly. They deserve I'm not saying they don't deserve a good team. It's fine. They can have a good team, but they deserve a chaotic fucking good team that can absolutely blow up in a good or bad way. But no, they get the most fundamentally sound team. Like, this feels like this should just be a traditional Midwest football team. Like, they feel like they should be like, this is what Nebraska football wants to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Just playing good to great.
Sound football.
Good to great at every single aspect of the game, and there's not a single weakness that you have. You might not be the best at any one thing, but you're good enough at everything that it doesn't matter.
They're awesome. They're awesome. They're fun to watch. Well, they're not fun to watch. They're a little boring to watch, but it's good football to watch.
They are kind of boring to watch. Like, shit, let's talk about that. Fuck, nobody wants to see 8 tush pushes a game.
Oh, God, no.
Nobody wants that, but that's what you're going to get. And
they're
going to convert 6 to 7 of them, and 2 that they don't were on 3rd down, so they're going to do it again on 4th down. Yeah, no, it's annoying. They're annoying as shit. I don't want to root for them. I don't feel inclined to root for them. I don't root for them. But are they going to win a fuck ton of football games? Yes, they're going to do it again because
they're that good. Nick Sirianni is. Are we comfortable calling Nick Sirianni a good head coach?
Oh, I think he's more than a good head coach. I think he's not getting his flowers. It's funny.
Would you throw the word great in there?
Well, you draw back to Doug Peterson winning a Super Bowl and getting fired 2 years later. That's not happening to Sirianni.
Ooh, I like that. I agree.
And they have churned through coordinators too, and it does not matter. They don't take a step back. That's the crazy thing. They can lose their defensive and offensive coordinator in the same season, and then lose one of the two of them the next season, and then the other one the next season, and then the other one the next season. That that guy's replacement,
Well,
and it doesn't matter. Sirianni has a crazy good thing built here. Just to draw a recency, it feels a lot like what Andy Reid had for about, and I'm going to say had because I don't think the Chiefs are there. We'll get to them in a little bit. I don't think the Chiefs are there anymore. But what the Chiefs had for about a 7-year stretch there, that's what it feels like we're in about year 3 of that with the Eagles, maybe year 4. And Sirianni's here to stay, and Philly runs coaches out of town quicker than anybody else, and I don't think Sirianni's going anywhere anytime soon.
Do you think that offensive coordinator job is the easiest thing to interview for? Like Sirianni's like, hey, it's 3rd and 2. You have Saquon and Jalen Hurts in the backfield. What are you going to call? Tush push. Okay, you don't get it. It's 4th and 1. What do you do? Well, where are we in the field? It's you're on the 50-yard line. I'm gonna call it tush push, I think, and see what happens.
Yeah, be real interesting come this next offseason if we revisit the banning the tush push for whatever reason it may be. But as of now, I mean, that's probably the easiest job in the world. Offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. Again, you don't have to ask Jalen to do too much. Hurts can do whatever he wants. You got very capable receivers. You got probably the best running back in football. I mean, it's just fucking hand it off to Saquon, and then if you get in a position where you need to do something, like you got maybe 8 to 10 times a game, you actually got to draw up a play.
Yeah. No, for sure. I like.
And that offensive line is one of the best in football.
It's not fair. Everything is just good. Very good to great. It's awful. But let's move it over to another heavyweight matchup, Noah. That being the Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Rams. Rams sneak away with this one, 27-20. Daniel Dimes still looking pretty good. 24-33, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Matthew Stafford, 29 for 41, 375, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Noah, who do you think is a better team?
Who do I think is a better team? Who do I think couldn't sleep for 2 days would be Adonai Mitchell.
Ooh.
After having a waltz-in touchdown that he decided to drop right before the goal line and then continue to bobble until it went out of the back of the end zone. Rams get the late touchdown to win this game. Obviously, you see by the graph there, Colts were probably 80+% favorites to win this game at one point. Yeah, that was a huge blunder. He's never going to forget that the rest of his career. Colts look good. That's where I'm going with that. They look really good. They probably should be 4-0. Rams, also a very good team. Blown lead to the Eagles is their only loss on the season. I think they should be 3-1 with a win over the Eagles and a loss to the Colts here at this point. But they're 3-1 nonetheless. They are in control of the NFC West. I know Seattle's also 3-1. San Francisco's also 3-1. Cardinals sitting at 2-2. They're not far back, but oh man, I mean, this is a weird game. Game. My takeaways: both of these teams are really good. I'm 4 weeks in, I'm finally willing to say the Colts are good, which is funny because after starting 3-0, I wasn't there, but after being 3-1, now I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a good Colts team. This is a good Colts
welcome
team.
to the bandwagon, Noah.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's a dog. This offense is clicking. This defense looks good. Rams also really good. That's where I'm at with it.
I like it.
Colts should have won this game. They did.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I said, Rams, it happens. Rams should have beat the Eagles last week. They didn't, and they get one back in a game where they probably should have lost. And so, well, you know what? It all balances out. My favorite thing is everybody's always like, yeah, NFL, it's a league of parity. It is absolutely a league of parity because every time you watch a game and you think you know something, then the very next week you get caught with your pants down, especially if you're betting on these games or
Yeah.
fantasy or anything like that.
Oh, for sure. It is. It is. But great game though. That was a fun game to watch. Colts. Daniel Jones looks so comfortable now. It's night and day from his time in New York just last year. But keeping it moving, Noah. Guy coming off of injury, but maybe looks a little worse for wear. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, Noah, I did say that sentence correctly. Final score 26-21. Brock Purdy, 22 for 38, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence, 21 for 31, 174 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions for him. Oh, is Trevor Lawrence like? Are we? I'm not ready. I don't want to jump on this. I really don't know. Like, I'm willing to admit that the Jaguars look good. Liam Cohen is doing really good things down there in Jacksonville, and I think is revitalizing Trevor Lawrence's very short career already, but still kind of putting him in better spots than he has been in the past. Not to mention the fact that Travis Etienne seems to remember how to run the football with 19 attempts for 124 yards. I don't know where that came from. Brian Thomas Jr. learned how to catch a football, apparently. He went 7 for 5 with 49 yards. I mean...
I don't think the pass game is not probably my real focus here. It's... which is crazy because Liam Cohen's supposed to be one of them quarterback whisperer type guys, right? Let's look at what he's unlocked in running backs.
Yeah.
Man, Bucky Irving bursted onto the scene last year. Rachaad White, who, don't get me wrong, was, I think, a second-round pick. So he was drafted pretty well. But Liam Cohen was there for Rachaad White's emergence, and also Rachaad White's
downfall.
I wouldn't call it a downfall, but his job being taken from him.
True.
Now Etienne, a guy who there were worries about the fact that he might not even be getting reasonable snaps this season, and all of a sudden he's playing really well. Lawrence has played good.
Yeah.
The receiver room here has been the weirdest question mark for Jacksonville, but I love Liam Cohen telling Robert Saleh, keep my name out of your mouth.
That was great. After Saleh called him out for the McVay, what was that again? The McVay tree, and they all steal signs or something. They have a legal sign stealing system.
No, not even the McVay tree necessarily. But Saleh basically said, "Oh yeah, Liam Cohen's the best in the NFL at legally deciphering signs, not stealing, deciphering them, because there is a difference. You are not allowed in the NFL to steal signs by watching film ahead of time, but if you're doing it in game." And so it was a compliment. It was a compliment to Liam Cohen, and then Liam Cohen still was like, "Keep my name." Kind of a
backhanded compliment, though.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a legal part of the game. As the game goes on, you can, and he's got a team of guys there in Jacksonville that he brought over from Tampa Bay that Liam Cohen uses to decipher the defensive signs and figure out what the play calls are, and it's totally legal. It's very, very valid, and I don't know why Cohen got so upset about it. Because I thought it was a compliment from Robert Saleh to.
I agree.
To Cohen, and then Jacksonville comes out and wins it, and then Liam Cohen's all upset about it for some reason. But anyways, I'll talk about the flip side though. Brock Purdy's not that guy, and
no.
I'm going to bang that drum until that drum does not bang anymore, until Brock Purdy is not a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore, because he doesn't have the arm strength to get away with his decision-making that he makes. And he has in the past, because he's gotten lucky. I mean, how many times have we seen Brock Purdy throw up a lame duck that one of these San Francisco receivers, because they beat the coverage so bad, is able to come back, and then get some yak and turn it into a really nice play. It happens so often. I mean, I'm like, as somebody who watches a lot of tape, I have never been a fan of Brock Purdy. I have never fully thought he deserves a starting job in the NFL because I do think at all times in his career there have been 32 32 quarterbacks who are better than Brock Purdy. And I'm never going to waver from that position because Brock Purdy does a lot of things really well. He head-wise, mentally, he might be top 10, top 15 among quarterbacks in the NFL. He just does not have the physical attributes to back that up. And so he sees a nice pocket that he can throw it into. He doesn't have the arm strength. He doesn't have the arm talent to get it in there consistently.
Mm-mm.
And it bit him in the ass this game. Granted, you throw a bad ball to a receiver that could have very well been just an incomplete pass that was behind him, and your receiver just tries to make the catch, which they're going to do. As somebody who played receiver, your instinct is you are going to reach out your hands and try to grab that ball, even if it's not in a spot where you can probably catch it. And it just so happens you just toss it right into the defensive's lap. Whatever. That happens. And I can't fault the receiver for that, but like you got to put that ball in there firmer and quicker, and you just see it too much out of Purdy. You see it too much out of Purdy. And the way that this roster has gotten worse in the last 2 years, and then also dealing with the tremendous amount of injuries that they are.
Yeah, he doesn't have that roster to back him up.
Yeah, San Francisco's sitting at 3-1, but it is not a pretty 3-1, and I am not sold on this team. I think they missed the playoffs. I don't even think it's a think. I'm sold on them missing the playoffs because Brock Purdy is not that guy. They'd be better off. They got who do they have a backup right now?
Mac Jones.
I'd be better off with Mac Jones. Mac Jones can actually fit a ball into a window. And I do think Brock Purdy is a smarter quarterback than Mac Jones. I think he's got a higher IQ. And he's got a higher knowledge for the game. But if it's my team, I'm starting Mac Jones over Purdy because I think Mac Jones can just do things that Purdy can't. And Mac Jones isn't even the best quarterback in the league. He's not even like this crazy talent. But Mac Jones has the talent level of an NFL quarterback. Brock Purdy has the mind and the intelligence of an NFL quarterback, but does not have the talent level to back it up. So if you could somehow merge the two together, you probably have a really good quarterback. But Mac Jones can do things that Purdy can't on the field, and Purdy can see everything perfectly and do it. But when it comes to execution, Purdy's never going to be the guy who's there. He's never going to be the guy who's there because he does not have the arm strength. He does not have the arm talent to get it done.
I'm with you there. And, he has had the benefit of an incredible roster since he's been in the league. And, kind of like Daniel Jones with the Giants, he had a Saquon Barkley and some solid help at wide receiver. That's why he got his contract. That's why Purdy got his contract. I'm with you, Noah. And the 49ers in general, again, understand the injuries are real, but I think we talked about it with the Miami Dolphins earlier this season, how everything just looks hard for them. Everything looks difficult for them. And that's kind of at where I'm at with the 49ers. Nothing's really flowing. Nothing's really gelling. And again, like you said, they're 3-1. It's a rough 3-1. And yeah, I'm out on them on the playoffs and all that. I don't even think they sniff a wild card spot if we're going to be honest.
No, well, you look at the wide receiver. At this point, it feels like the Rams and the Seahawks, if you're looking at the NFC West, are the two teams that are probably in the playoffs, and the Niners and the Cardinals are probably the two teams that are out for vastly different reasons. But, and you could even, drop the Seahawks. You pull Sam Darnold into this mix, right? Like Sam Darnold makes some bonehead fucking decisions sometimes. Yeah. Purdy doesn't make bonehead decisions, but if you need a guy to force a ball downfield into a tight window, Sam Darnold can do that. Purdy cannot. With how fast the NFL moves, there's a lot of good reads that Purdy makes, but the ball gets in there slower, and by the time that happens, the DB is able to close the gap and force an incompletion or an interception. And it just happens routinely. And Mr. Irrelevant, whatever, we've seen some really good, even Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have gone undrafted. Purdy just he just doesn't have the physical attributes to do it. He doesn't have the physical attributes to do it. And yes, I'm gonna say his career's already peaked. It's already peaked. It's only downhill.
I would agree.
It's only downhill from here.
I would agree. Not a lot of faith in Purdy, and I don't blame you. Let's keep it moving. No, we got a lot of games on this slate. Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs come away with this one, 37-20. Big story coming out of this one. Lamar Jackson will be out for the next couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. Cooper Rush to be taking the reins from there. But not only the whole Lamar situation of it, Noah, but damn, that defense sucks. Like, I know we've been talking about, worried about the Ravens, and that defense and but this game, I think, really kind of opened everyone's eyes to it. Because, I mean, we all understand that this Chiefs offense, this Chiefs team in general, isn't as good as they have been in the past. I'm not going to count them out yet with all their injuries and everything, but still, not the best team. They get Xavier Worthy back. This offense looks a little bit better, but that Ravens defense is going to be what prevents them from getting into getting them into the playoffs, getting them through the playoffs, that and Derrick Henry's fumble issues. But, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get out on the Ravens here, especially if they're going to be without Lamar for the next couple weeks. You are muted, my friend.
You are correct. Ravens still sitting at plus 280 to miss the playoffs. So if you really want to wait them, there's some nice juice on that. But
I kind of like that.
I feel comfortable saying this is the worst defense in the NFL.
The Ravens? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying this is the worst defense in the NFL. Almost beat Buffalo. Probably should have beat Buffalo. Offensive line really let them down against the Lions. They've played a tough schedule. They beat up on the Browns. This game was not pretty. I think it's going to be tough. Their only saving grace is Joe Burrow's going to be out for a long time. The Bengals look absolutely atrocious. The Browns don't really have much going for them, and so they're kind of just competing with the Steelers.
Yeah.
So if the Ravens get into the playoffs, they're going to have a chance to win a game or two. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender by any means. Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes of old in this game, which is not a good sign if you're the Ravens because he hasn't looked that way in 2.5 years.
No. So many problems. And now you're just healthy scratching Jair Alexander every single game, which is great for you when you sign him to a $2 million base contract with incentives for games played, and then now you're just healthy scratching him every game so you don't have to pay him, which tells you how much faith they have in Jair after like 1 week. But Packers were clearly on the right side of that one. That they were.
Yeah, this is such a dynamic, such a good stacked offense, and until Lamar comes back, I mean, it's not like previous years where you have a guy coming in where you're playing the same play style. No. Like Cooper Rush cannot do any degree of what Lamar can do, so it's going to be weird seeing him. I think they got to beat the Texans. They got to beat the Texans. Because if they go to 1-4, it's maybe sky is falling in Baltimore. So we'll see what happens with that. But Chiefs claw back to 2-2. Get lucky with the Chargers' loss to the Giants, so they're not 2 games back in the division. But I'm not sold on the Chiefs. I think they had a 7-year really good window, and then hiring Matt Nagy might have been the worst thing that they did to be their offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got some fun Matt Nagy stats coming up. Don't worry about that, Noah.
No, they looked fine in this game, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm still saying jury's out on the Chiefs this year. I don't know what to expect.
They not Jekyll and Hyde per se, but yeah, you're not really getting a good sense of what they are, who they are right now. And this, again, the injuries ain't helpful, but what you gonna do? Let's move on to the next game, Noah. Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders. Holy shit, the Bears have won 2 in a row, Noah.
Yeah, somehow the tables have turned. The Bears get blessed by a missed game-winning field goal. Usually they're on the other side of that. Caleb Williams did not look good.
No, not at all.
The Bears
22 for 37, 23 for 37, 212 yards.
The Bears did not look good. Geno Smith did not look good. The only thing that looked good in this game was Ashton Jeanty, which is the first game out of 4 that he's actually looked real solid.
Well, he went back to his stance.
Yeah, he went back to standing straight vertical, and turns out that works for him for
that
whatever
really
reason. Any running backs coach in the entire country is like not a fan of that. But
no, they have to correct it. Are you Ashton Jeanty? Then no, get down in your stance.
Yeah, this was a messy, sloppy game. Like I said, everybody looked bad in this game other than Ashton Jeanty. And the Bears come out with a win thanks to a missed game-winning field goal by the Raiders. And that's all I have to say about this because, oh, man, there is a lot to dissect that I do not want to dissect with either of these teams because none of it's great.
No, it's not. It was a bad...
Other than if you're the Raiders, you feel really good about the way Ashton Jeanty played in this game.
Yes. But besides that, it was an ugly game on both sides of the football for both teams. And yeah, I don't want to watch the film on that. I've had to watch it once already. Just fun note, Ben Johnson is now 1-1 on Sunday. Ben Johnson, 1-1 now, has more Sunday road victories as a Bears head coach than Matt Eberflus. How many road games on Sunday do you think Matt Eberflus won, Noah?
0.
He went 0-18 for Sunday road games. So, shout out Matt Eberflus. All right, Noah. The tie heard round the world. Let's talk Sunday Night Football. Packers, Bears. Not only do we get a tie, we had some free football there. And look at that graph there. That's an interesting graph, Noah.
Yeah, no, it really is. This one hurt me.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with, Packers defense. Forgot that they existed. That was cool. After looking like maybe the best defense in the league for 3 weeks, and then just said, you know what? We gave up 4 touchdowns through 3 weeks, 3 in garbage time in the first 2 weeks, and then 1 to the Browns where Jordan Love set him up right at the 4-yard line. You know what we should do is give up that many plus more against the Dallas Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb. That was really fun for me. Offense looked great, except for when Matt LaFleur decided to handcuff him in overtime or towards the end of the game.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. But
by saying, you know what, and I've talked about with a couple teams earlier, why did you abandon the run game? This is the opposite scenario, which why did we stick with the run game? Not that the run game was doing anything bad. I mean, the Packers offense was kind of carving through Dallas's defense like every team was this year. But I just come back to what the fuck happened with the defense?
I got no answers.
And Packers defense has looked really good again through 3 weeks. Did not look good at all in this game. But the one thing that's been consistent, inability to force turnovers.
Yeah, for sure.
And then dropping down to 1 sack in this was crazy because defensive line has been getting so much pressure, and that sack maybe even shouldn't have been a sack, but I don't know what to make of this with the Packers after the regression we've seen the last 2 weeks. I don't think the Packers offense is an offense that's going to go out and single-handedly win games themselves.
No.
That's fine. That was fine because the defense is playing so damn well through 3 weeks. the Browns loss felt really fluky. And then you go out and tie this game, and now I'm a little bit nervous. Now I'm a little bit concerned. I was willing to chalk up that Browns game last week as just a fluke. Now I'm concerned. I don't know why everybody crowned the Packers like Super Bowl champions after 2 weeks, but it's weird, man. And welcome to the show, George Pickens. He had a hell of a fucking game.
Yeah.
Hell of a fucking game. I will give flowers to George Pickens. Player of the game, absolutely. CD will be, looks like, out again this next week, I think. I don't know if we have a definitive time frame on that, but George Pickens looks like he's okay being number one receiver and doing all the work.
And Noah, if my eyes didn't deceive me, I don't remember one personal foul call on George Pickens.
No, and there were personal foul calls in this game. Yeah. There were times where the teams were jawing, and I was like,
Where's Pickens?
I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, where's George Pickens to get us 15 yards? Like, fuck.
This is his thing.
He was like on the sideline, minding his own damn business, not giving us the free 15, and that kind of pissed me off. I was like, George Pickens, you've gone soft. Where are you?
Where are you?
Hell of a receiving game, though, for Pickens. Dak played really well. Again, I think the Giants' defense is pretty good, and the Cowboys kind of carved them up. They played pretty well against the Eagles. I think this Cowboys' offense, even sans CeeDee Lamb, is actually kind of decent. This defense is just maybe they're fighting Baltimore for maybe worse in the league. So, all of the calls, all of the bounces did kind of go Dallas's way or go a neutral way, so they very well could have lost this game if we got rid of the damn ties in the NFL. Also, I don't know how LaFleur gets the ball with 4 or 5 minutes left, and then it's like, all right, we're going to settle with just a long, winded field goal drive. Like, that pissed me off. And then Packers special teams has for a decade and a half been anything but special. I just don't know how this hasn't been fit. And we have the highest paid special teams coordinator in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
And I think rightfully so, a lot of people Monday morning calling for Rich Bisaccia's head. Like, get him the fuck out of here. Why are we paying $2-something million a year for a special teams coordinator who's going to have us ranked 30th or worse in special teams? You look at the blocked extra point, and even going back to the Browns game last week, the blocked field goal where, then the Browns come down and kick field. Like, for 15 years, that's been the Achilles heel for the Packers is special teams.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can finish 26th or worse for, I think it's now 12, 13, 14 consecutive years, something like that. It's over 10 consecutive years the Packers have finished 26th or worse in special teams. Something's got to change. And we thought maybe something was changing when we brought in Rich Bisaccia from the Raiders, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Special teams is still terrible. For some reason, Matthew Golden is our punt returner, which, let's not throw the ball to our first round wide receiver, but let's use him in punt coverage and let him just get his ass fucking beat up.
Yeah.
Makes no fucking sense. I don't know how to fix it. What we need to do, just fix the special teams. Fix the special teams and Packers will be just fine.
Yeah, special teams needs fixed. Defense secondary needs a little help as well. Good game from the Cowboys, like you said. Explosive offense that can keep it moving, but that defense may compete with the Ravens this year. So we had 2 Monday night games, Noah, and I kind of want to talk about both of them in conjunction with each other. First off, Braylon Allen, Tyreek Hill, T's and P's. Tyreek Hill, the dislocated knee tearing every ligament and his ACL. Luckily, they were able to get that done in one surgery. Agent came out and said he is looking to play to next year. Again, that's a day out of surgery, so we'll have to wait and see on that.
About 2 more kids before then.
At least. I think he can squeeze 3 out. I think he can get 3 out by then. Anyway, ugly ass football games, Noah. I mean, everyone was kind of worried seeing this doubleheader scheduled here for Monday Night Football, and they had every right to be. I mean, yeah, the Jets game kind of got exciting towards the end of the fourth quarter, but besides that, it was slow. It was clunky. It was bad football with the Jets and the Dolphins.
Tua tried to give himself more brain damage.
Tua really did, and I mean, they called that one that was, I thought, worthy of being called. But yeah, Tua's trying to get himself out of the game too. I mean, it was just bad football all around. Special teams, the Jets fumbled the ball more times than I think I've seen fumbles this season. And then the Bengals, Jake Browning just looks so lost. He doesn't like Jake Browning, I think, extenuates the obvious of how bad that O-line is for the Bengals. You know, Joe Burrow, he has been with enough bad O-lines with the Bengals that he knows how to run around and that he only has 2 seconds. But Jake Browning probably hasn't been in this situation much where, oh, shit, no, this O-line is the worst in the league and cannot protect shit. He looked awful. The Bengals looked awful. The Broncos, I mean, it was like they were taking the horse out back and putting one in the back of the skull. Like, that's just, it felt like a mercy kill more than anything.
Yeah. God, funny thing with that is, right, like, somewhat, like, widely accepted that, like, Jake Browning's one of the better backups in the league.
Yeah. No argument there.
The drop-off from Joe Burrow to him, and so when you start looking at conversations about Joe Burrow being a top 3, maybe even best quarterback in the league, I think we need to see him stay healthy for a few more years, but also locker room presence. I mean, that's a factor in it, right? Like,
yeah,
Ja'Marr Chase is starting to get pissed off. T. Higgins has been pissed off for like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I mean, I don't know. The fact that Joe Burrow has had success with what this Bengals roster and management and all this is crazy. And I think this is just showing even more. So, I mean, losing by like 40, 50 points to the Vikings and then just getting absolutely blown out in Denver. It's not a surprise. We know there's so many problems with this Cincinnati team, but somehow those problems get covered up when Joe Burrow's in there throwing to T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. And I think the whole show is going to get blown up here pretty soon. And Joe Burrow's going to be stuck there 2-3 years longer than he should be. And at some point he's going to get a second chance with somebody else because he's just not going to sign an extension or another contract with Cincinnati. And then he'll just walk. And that'll be one of the biggest free agent signings that we see in, a good 5-year span. There's so many problems with Cincinnati.
So many.
They
don't have any problems at wide receiver, I can tell you that much, but they've everywhere else on the field.
I'm really glad after Malik Neighbors, my number 2 wide receiver that I drafted was T. Higgins. And then I also have Jerry Jeudy, who's doing absolutely goddamn fucking nothing. So team's feeling great. We're 0-4 and we're feeling great going forward because now we have I don't need to get into that.
This one guy released his first 4 picks of the draft, and it was James Conner, Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, and I forgot who the last one was, but they're also out with bad injury.
Well, it sounds like a terrible draft strategy, taking guys too early. But
yeah,
I know you were probably you probably said different names than you were looking for. But talking about the earlier game, New York Jets, Miami, whatever. Miami gets a win. I did pick them in my survivor pool, so thank you, Miami. Yeah, this is maybe the one game that I felt like you could win. And then now Tyreek's out for the season. twisted his leg about 720 degrees. It looked like that was not fun to watch.
No.
I do have Achan on my fantasy team. He's been playing well.
Yeah, Achan's been playing well. He's
Yeah,
running the ball.
No, but I mean, outside of Tua literally trying to just not only end his career, but maybe more than that, dude needs to play safer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jets are much like the Saints for me, man. I mean, they feel like they have some fight, and they've been in some games that have been close, but I don't know. We'll see. At the end of the day, they're ass.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
And the Dolphins are ass too, but the Dolphins, I know you've been really, really down on the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins win 4 or 5 games at least.
Is it bad that I think that, with this Tyreek injury, maybe the Dolphins play a little bit better? Because like I've said through the preseason and everything, Noah, the issue is some combination of Mike McDaniels, Tua, and Tyreek. It's some combination of that, and that's why I was big on Tyreek probably getting traded this season. Was they're going to get something out of it and get rid of something? Yeah, sure as hell not anymore. Well, they might be able to unload him to the Cardinals.
Well, it happened early enough. He'll be ready to go week 1 next season.
Hopefully, but
at 35 years old at that point. So,
well, he's got some child support payments to make, so I'm sure he'll be.
He'll be playing for somebody, but I just he might be He is past his prime at this point, and we've seen him starting to slow down a little bit. And now this might be a killer. He might get signed to a 1 or 2 year contract, and then he can't perform, and then.
Well, and none of the money that he has, none of the money on his contract next year is guaranteed or anything like that. I think there's a roster bonus that he might be eligible for if he remains on the roster, but.
Yeah. End of the day, must be nice to be the fucking Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, for real.
You got the New Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets in your conference, and you're like, oh, cool. 6 of our games are against these fuckers. And they can't even beat anybody else. And when they play each other, then just people get injured. And so
Buffalo Bills minus 25,000 to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I just again must be nice to be the Buffalo Bills, and this is your division going into the year, and you're like, oh. Cakewalk.
Gotta love it. But cool, dude. That is every game from week 4, our college takes, and we even threw in some other sports in there. You got anything else to say before we sign off tonight, Noah?
I do not. We will be back at you Thursday.
Yes.
With our NFL and college football picks. I know, a day later than usual, but got important business to attend to.
Yes, we do. And we'll attend to that. But yeah, we'll be live Thursday with that. And I will also have my Power Slap 15 picks coming out probably Thursday afternoon. So look forward to that. It's a good card this weekend. No, we got a good Power Slap card going to it.
I'll take your word for it.
Let me tell you, it's going to be good. But hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube, X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But with all that, I'm the Brofict One AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. We'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.